Coming up on Cedar Valley today, election results. Waverly voters turned out last night to vote for the at-large city council seat.
And the Cedar Valley prepares to get fit with a new $27 million sportsplex.
And the St. John's Bible is more than a picture book. We see what went into creating the 7-volume Bible.
Hello and welcome to Cedar Valley Today. I'm Ashley Davis.
And I'm Jacqueline Schutte. Edith Waldstein has been elected to fill the at-large Waverly City Council seat. Waldstein faced former Mayor Bob Brunkhorst and businessman John Campbell. She received 406 votes to Brunkhorst's 247 and Campbell's 198. Waldstein conducted a write-in campaign for the spot after neither Brunkhorst or Campbell received a majority vote in the December election. The seat was vacated this fall following the death of former Councilman Gary Borum.
I've served on planning and zoning, so I know what the issues are. I know that economic development is very, very important. Education is important. Housing policy is important. Those are just some top issues that I know we're dealing with on a regular basis.
New Iowa lawyers may be able to practice earlier according to a possible new legislation. Currently, a law school graduate has to take the Iowa bar exam, then wait up to 4.5 months before they know whether they passed. This proposed law would allow lawyers to get a job right away after graduating and to start making an income. Only around 7% of those who take the test do not pass. The law would be similar to one in Wisconsin.
When you graduate from law school, when you want to practice in a particular jurisdiction, you take a national test that's multiple choice, but there's no Iowa component to it. And so what this commission has recommended and has sent up to the Supreme Court is that there's an in-state procedure where if you graduated from an Iowa law school, that you would be guaranteed the right to practice in Iowa.
Extreme cold has caused some local downtown businesses to lose phone service. Cedar Valley Today reporter Alyssa Kozak is here to tell us more.
Thank you, Jackie. This is the area that was affected by the outage from the Cedar River to Duo's coffee shop. Last week, downtown Waverly lost phone and high-speed internet services due to the extreme cold, followed by a rapid warm-up. Due to the extreme cold weather at the beginning of the week, ice surrounded the equipment. As the weather warmed up, the ice melted, causing damage to the equipment. Services went out on Tuesday of last week, but was quickly restored by Thursday and Friday. Businesses and homes lost phone service, DSL, and high-speed internet through CenturyLink.
Right. Our number one priority is always to get our services restored and our customers back in service as quickly as possible. We did have employees that were calling customers to verify when services came back up and to let them know, that we had an outage.
A 1998 Wartburg alum is climbing to new heights. Jen Loeb has recently returned from climbing Mount Kosciuszko in Australia. This is just one of the 8 mountains that make up the 7 summits. The 7 summits consist of the highest peaks on all 7 continents, in which Loeb plans to climb them all. Loeb says she will be returning to Australia in March to take on Carson's Pyramid.
So I kind of actually mulled it over for quite a long time. It wasn't just an easy, simple, yes, I'll do it. There's a lot that goes into it. It's pretty much gotten to the point where I would say at this point in time, mountain climbing has pretty much just consumed my entire life.
And now we'll take a first look at our weather with Jesse Kielman.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Well, bundling up is something that residents of the Cedar Valley have gotten used to already this winter, and they're going to have to use that steel set once again. Temperatures currently are in the mid-20s, about 26 degrees right now. We're seeing it climb just a little bit to about 28 around the noon hour before dropping down to 22 for dinner and continuing to plummet throughout the night. But the big news today is wind. Wind everywhere, 25 to 30 mile an hour winds all through the day and through the night. Good news is, for members of the Cedar Valley, that there is some hope on the horizon, and I'll tell you all about that later on in the show. Back to you, Ashley and Jackie.
Thanks, Jesse. Wartburg is hosting a one-of-a-kind version of the Bible. Nicole Lyons is live from Wartburg's Art Gallery to tell us more about this special book.
Thanks, Ashley. The project spanned 15 years and involved 6 calligraphers and over 1,000 pages of calfskin vellum. It features 160 major illuminations, and it's now on display here at Wartburg. It's the St. John's Bible. Tim Turnus, the director of the St. John's Bible, joins me now. Thanks. Good morning. When did the project begin and when did it end?
In 1995, a gentleman by the name of Donald Jackson approached St. John's University in Collegeville, Minnesota, and asked about the possibility of commissioning this work. He began the work in 1998, and he worked through with his team until 2011.
Can you tell us a little bit more about Donald Jackson?
Donald Jackson is considered by most to be one of the world's foremost Western scribes. By profession, he is the senior scribe to Her Royal Majesty's Crown Office in the House of Lords in London, so he's often called the Queen's calligrapher. And this was his idea. As a master scribe, he dreamed of doing what calligraphers have done for centuries, handwriting scripture.
And we're standing by the Gospels of the St. John's Bible. Can you tell us a little bit more about this book?
Well, the St. John's Bible, there's an original copy, and that was done over the 15-year period by this team of artists led by Donald Jackson. But that is housed in central Minnesota. And so finding a way to share it was an important thing to us. So we made full-size fine art copies. And Wartburg College is playing host to one of those sets of copies. So what we're standing in front of right now is a full-size reproduction of the original, which is housed in St. John's in Collegeville. The Bible is so large, as you can see, it's almost 3 feet wide when it's open, that it takes 7 books this size. And what we're standing in front of right now is a beautiful full-size copy of the Gospels and Acts of the Apostles.
Can you tell us some interesting facts about this book in particular?
Well, you know, the making of the original of the St. John's Bible took 15 years. The making of its copy took almost 9 years. So this is not just something that was, run off on a press. What we have here is a beautiful version printed on paper. The original is done on calfskin vellum. This is done on paper, and you can see the St. John's Bible incorporates beautiful artworks, but unbelievably elegant pages, of page after page of calligraphy, all done by hand over a 7-year period by the 6 calligraphers, Donald Jackson being one of them. This particular book is as close to being the original as you're possibly going to get.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the tools that the calligraphers used?
Well, we think today the printed word is printed on a machine. Every element here was done by hand. And their tool of choice was this simple, very elegant little piece of technology. This is a quill. The St. John's Bible was written by turkey, swan, or goose quill by these 6 calligraphers. And if you take a look at their lettering, every letter penned by hand, all working to make sure their hands look the same, so that as you turn the pages, you really don't notice that there are differences between the calligraphers. And then, because you're using a traditional quill, you need to have a traditional ink. And this is the ink for the St. John's Bible. They were made in the 1870s, and they are, what I'm holding in my hand really is a stick of candle smoke, lamp black, collected from the 1800s, mixed with honey and egg white, compressed together with heat, and put into a solid stick of ink.
Right. Thank you very much for joining us today. When we come back, I will show you the time it took to make these beautiful cases. See you in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Cedar Valley today. Each of these books weighs approximately 30 to 40 pounds. Holding those Bibles are Julie Franson's handmade displays. Working with wood donated by retired Wartburg pastor Larry Trachte, Julie Franson was able to make 7 cabinets displaying the St. John's Bible. She began the project last June, and it took about 1 week to finish each cabinet.
That doesn't include the time it took to, do the design process and all that. That's extra. But the actual physically working with the wood, I would guess it's about 6 days of 8-hour days.
Julie is a master craftswoman from Waverly. She first began woodworking 15 years ago. Since then, she has found the experience to be quite relaxing.
The actual process of working the wood, I really enjoy. And the kind of the solitariness and the working with my hands, I really enjoy. I do some of my best thinking and meditating and praying while I'm working. It gives me a kind of a solitude.
She usually makes projects for her own home, but the Bible cabinets challenged her to use her skills in a different way.
Even though it was more stressful for me to do a project like this for somebody else, and making sure that they were satisfied, for the requirements of the display here. That's definitely a consideration that I usually don't have to deal with.
Overall, Julie says the Word of God is an important part of her life. To be able to help bring the St. John's Bible to Wartburg has been an exciting experience for her.
And finally to see it displayed and people enjoying this exhibit is very rewarding.
Now the Bibles will be on display here at the Wartburg Art Gallery till February 21st. When it's open, there will be a guide here to tell you more stories about each of the Bibles. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Nicole. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie gave his State of the State address yesterday and says he's working to put the bridge controversy behind him. He started out right away by saying he's doing his best to work with the investigations into the scandal. There's 2 investigations going on right now in New Jersey. The first is whether his staff caused a gridlock on one of the country's busiest bridges to punish the mayor of the town for not supporting his own re-election. The second is whether he used Hurricane Sandy relief money to make commercials starring himself. Oklahoma's same-sex marriage ban was declared unconstitutional by a federal judge yesterday. The law currently says marriage is not allowed between one man and one woman. The federal judge says that the court will not start to enforce the new ruling until every appeal is heard. Southwest Airlines are being investigated now after an airplane landed in the wrong airport in Missouri. 2 experienced pilots landed in an over 100-passenger plane 7 miles away from where it should have landed in Branson. It turned into a difficult landing because it was only half as long as the Branson runway and just short of a steep embankment. Passengers have been reimbursed. Justin Bieber's Los Angeles mansion was searched early Tuesday morning after the pop singer was believed to have egged his neighbor's home. The damage was estimated to cost around $20,000. This isn't the first time Bieber has been investigated with issues with his neighbors, but there has never been any charges filed. Beanie Babies inventor Ty Warner has been sentenced to 2 years of probation for tax evasion. He had millions of dollars in Swiss bank accounts. Warner could have faced up to 5 years in prison, but the judge said he was impressed with his work in charity. Beanie Babies were popular in the mid-1990s. According to Forbes, Warner's net worth is around $2.5 billion. And coming up next on Cedar Valley Today, fitness for all ages. Toddler, teen, or adult, the Cedar Valley Sports Fix says they are prepared to serve the community. And Jesse Keelman will have your full weekend forecast coming up.
Welcome back to Cedar Valley Today. Current temperatures out there in the mid-20s. We're going to see that climb just a little bit to 28 degrees by noontime before dropping down and continue to drop over the dinner hour to 22 degrees and seeing that continue through the evening. Big news today, though, is the wind. The wind is between 25 and 30 miles an hour, and we're going to see that continue right through to tomorrow. Again, mid-20 temperatures, very similar. But the good news is, as we reach the evening hours, the wind's going to die down as we transition. What that means for your weekend? Well, as the wind dies down, it's actually going to get chillier too. So we have to kind of substitute one for the other there. 11 degrees on Friday, 22 on Saturday, but we will see a spike to 33 degrees on Sunday and see that continue through the beginning of next week. Now, looking across the state, we're going to see that out east, it's very similar to how it is here in the Cedar Valley, low 20s, but out east they have more cloud coverage actually, with up to 90% cloud coverage in Dubuque and in Cedar Rapids. Out west, we see a little higher temperatures, but they have the wind coming. We have about 30-mile-per-hour winds right now in the Cedar Valley. They have about 40-mile-per-hour winds out there in Sioux City and Council Bluffs. Now, if we can look at the national weather, you'll see that everyone is enjoying better temperatures than we are right now, with 40 degrees on the East Coast and pretty balmy out there on the West Coast too. But don't be too jealous. New York and Seattle are both experiencing fog today, and down here in Miami and in Houston, they are experiencing about 40% chance of rain. So only one really we need to be jealous of is LA, because both Denver and Chicago have the wind as well. Now, looking at your 5-day forecast, you'll see winds dying down at the end of tomorrow, temperatures dropping through the weekend, but Sunday we're going to see that spike come up between Sunday and Monday, and hopefully see that continue through the rest of next week.
Sounds like it'll be a little warmer.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully we can see that and kind of keep it continuing on that trend then.
Sounds great. Kelsey Bemis joins us now to tell us about a grand opening coming up soon in the Cedar Valley.
And Kelsey?
Thanks, Jackie. Now, the Cedar Valley Sportsplex in Waterloo is getting ready for its grand opening on Friday. Last weekend, I found out what went into preparing this $27 million facility. Hammers and vacuums. Not the normal sounds associated with the sports complex. But with less than a week until its grand opening, Sportsplex facility specialist Craig Denner says all hands are needed to prepare the state-of-the-art facility.
A tireless operation of, okay, what do we need, how much do we need, and where can we get it?
We've had to start from the ground up, so everything from bringing basketballs over to bringing all new office equipment to stocking toilet paper.
And after nearly 2 years since the groundbreaking ceremony, area residents are becoming eager for the opening.
I know it's really difficult because a lot of people haven't been in here, so I think it's kind of the unknown right now.
Features include a 30,000 square foot turf field house, 2 regulation-sized basketball courts, a 2-lane running track, over 60 pieces of workout equipment, and a pool with a water slide.
Not a lot of fitness clubs in the state of Iowa that has the same amenities that this place has, and you hope that people take away that the people that came up with this idea actually care about a healthy lifestyle of the Cedar Valley.
And with everything from childcare to fitness classes to a golf simulator, the Sportsplex will show a healthy lifestyle is attainable at any age.
There really is something for everyone. So, I mean, you can walk into the childcare and see a 2-year-old, and then you can walk into the golf simulator and see an 82-year-old. So it kind of brings the whole community together.
Once again, the grand opening is this Friday at 3. Membership prices for the complex will be $41 a month for an individual and $62 per month for a family.
Coming up next on Cedar Valley Today Sports. After falling short to Dubuque in their Iowa Conference opener, the men's basketball team rebounded in a big way against the rival Luther Norse.
And the wrestling team captured their 4th straight NWCA national title on Saturday. Stay tuned for all the sights and sounds from the night's victory.
It's hard for the Wartburg wrestling team to one-up themselves after winning 3 straight national championships, but they did just that Sunday after winning their 4th consecutive NWCA national duo title. Assistant coach Chris Ortner filled in for a flu-ridden Eric Keller and didn't miss a beat. Connor Campo had a close match in his final against Concordia Moorhead, but came out victorious against Jonas Jebrieb in a 8-5 decision. Number 4 ranked Drew Regenhofer won his final match by blinking his opponent in a 6-0 decision. Number 3 ranked Cole Welter handled his business in the 165 final with a 6-3 win that included this great takedown. In the final match of the afternoon, 285-pound senior Ryan Fink grinded his way through his match and came away with a slim 2-0 victory. The Knights ended up dominating the duel with only 2 losses and won by a final score of 29-5. The women's basketball team traveled to Luther on Saturday looking for their first win, but found themselves in a shootout that they couldn't keep up with. Wartburg got down early, but Alyssa Sager tries the will in the Norse with this 3 from the top of the key to get within 1. But Luther's offense brought their A game and matched the Knights point for point and moved the lead to double digits after this tray from Anna Madrigal. The Norse carried that 10-point lead into halftime. In the second half, Wartburg had to play catch-up. Mary Brown beat her defender off the dribble for the layup to cut the lead to 3 with a minute 15 left. Luther had an answer that was Kylie Romeo hits the Norse's 12th 3 of the game to put the Knights away and win the contest 87-80. The men's basketball team felt good about their play in Wednesday's loss to Dubuque, and they played well again Saturday against the rival Norse. The Knights came out ready to battle, going on a 10-4 run, capped off by Chris Thomas's 4-point play. Wartburg didn't stop a few minutes later when Thomas Perkins ignores the chance from the Luther student section to hit the shot from downtown and extend the lead to 7. The Orange and Black built up a 10-point lead before Luther crawled back into the game. Kale Austin hits his 3 here to get within 2. The Knights would go into the break with a 1-score lead. Wartburg dominated much of the second half, and Chris Thomas's nasty alley-oop here puts an exclamation point in the day. As the Knights as they leave the court with a 76-69 victory. The men will play tonight against Central at home at 8. Both the men's and women's games can be seen on Night Vision starting at 5:45. The Wartburg indoor track and field team started with a bang over the weekend as both teams won their own meet. Senior Jonas Luzme won the high jump and long jump with lengths of 2.08 meters and 6.54 meters. He also placed third in the 60-meter dash. Junior Cole Feltus also won 2 titles in the shot put and weight throw with throws of 16.79 and 17.43 meters. On the track, Brandon Stagel, Alex Gilmore, and Lance Casey finished in the top 5 of the 60-meter hurdles. Both teams will compete this weekend at Iowa State. Be sure to tune in Friday for highlights of the wrestling team's duel against Luther. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. A local contestant won a popular quiz show Tuesday, meaning she'll return for Wednesday's episode. Sarah McNitt bested her opponents on Jeopardy on Tuesday, winning $15,800 during the episode. McNitt is a study abroad advisor at the University of Iowa, and according to her online blog, she's been working towards the goal of being on Jeopardy since 1999.
Waverly residents might be more happy with their city now more than ever. Waverly was named number 11 as the best cities to live in Iowa. The list was compiled by Motivable Real Estate. They considered the employment rate, cost of living, and crime when making the rankings.
A Colorado couple found something special to them, and it was because of the extreme cold weather. This couple has been married for 40 years, and 7 years ago, she lost her wedding ring. But the ring popped out of a busted pipe in the couple's former home when the weather caused it to freeze. The wife says she keeps her ring on her finger now.
Interesting way that the weather kind of turned into something good. I think most people don't really like the cold weather, but that was one situation where it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and if they don't like the cold weather, good news is there is some hope on the horizon. Not immediately. Today we're still in the mid-20s. Got those winds 25 to 30 miles an hour. We're going to see those drop off at the end of tomorrow, but the cold temperatures are going to be in then for the beginning of the weekend. 11 degrees on Friday, 22 on Saturday. But good news is, and this is, I promised I was going to get to it, 33 degrees on Sunday, 36 on Monday. So there is hope for some warm-up there as we begin next week.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks again for watching Cedar Valley Today. We'll see you again on Friday. Have a great day.